Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Canal Days. And as always, I am your host, Carrie, along with my co-host, founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Camus. Our Canal Days series dwells into the vast collection of historical sites throughout Massachusetts, with Robert's expertise of the local history as our personal guide. Each episode, we uncover histories throughout local communities with historic houses, meaningful monuments, preeminent pivotal pioneers, and remarkable remaining remnants, all while uncovering their seminal significance. Today's episode of Canal Days will be talking about the churches of Palmer, Massachusetts. So, recite the Catholic churches throughout Palmer.
Alright, there's St. Thomas the Apostle Church inside of Palmer, and as a parish, this one started in 1864, but has a brand new church that I made for itself. That church is from 1941, and it's down in the retail section of Palmer where the depot is, and it's a fine place in itself. But today we're going to talk about the Catholic churches. We're also going to talk about the Protestant churches, and we're going to try to figure out if these churches have much in common and which ones have the best look of all, and which styles they might be used, and so forth and so on. Alright, and there's also the St. Peter's and Paul's Church in Palmer. That one was made for the Polish ethnic group in 1905. They made a parish and church for themselves, and it's still there and still functional. In fact, it now combines another church within itself, and it's a very vibrant community. It has a gorgeous campus with outdoor adoration chapels and a grotto and nice landscape. So that one's quite a special place. Now, there's also the St. Anne's Church, which has undergone on the campus many changes over its convent, school, rectory, and church. And in the case of that one, they even sold the church to a Protestant religion. And this St. Anne's Church is for the people from Quebec. And so you have the Irish, the Polish, and the Quebec taking up the three Catholic churches. Now, there is a mission chapel associated with the St. Anne's, and there's also one church I want to look into. That's a St. Bartholomew's Church on State Street in Bondsville section of Palmer. But I've researched the others, but I haven't researched this one and how it fits in quite yet.
And enumerate the Protestant churches among Palmer.
Okay, so there's quite a few. There's the First Baptist Church there, and that's across from the Oak Knoll Cemetery. But probably the best Protestant church by looks is the St. Paul's Unitarian Universalist Church. It has a gorgeous look to its church building. The architectural style is quite nice, and it started up here, I believe it was in the 1879, as the St. Paul Universalist Church, and then the Unitarians joined in with it. And by far, that one takes up probably all the beauty of all these churches. And there's other Protestant churches around. There tend to be very small ones.
And stick around and we'll be right back after this quick announcement. Are you fascinated by local history and eager to investigate the obscure treasures off the beaten path throughout the state of Massachusetts? Or maybe just seeking an unforgettable cultural activity for family and friends to enjoy? Look no further than Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, founded by Robert Camus. With over a decade of experience, Robert offers captivating tours and presentations of historic sites and landmarks throughout the state. Whether you're interested in canals, cemeteries, charming churches, or more, Robert's tours provide a unique and enriching experience for all. And that's not it. You can also schedule private tours tailored to your interests, ensuring a personalized adventure and unforgettable memories. Perfect for families or groups of all sizes, making for an exciting hands-on learning experience that brings history to life. Simply visit HolyokeCanalTour.org or email bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com to book your private tour today. So, getting back to our interview, describe the different individual architectural styles of churches.
Okay, so you find a lot of different styles among all these churches we've been talking about. The St. Thomas the Apostle Church has a British Gothic look to it. The St. Peter and Paul Church has more of a colonial look to it, and that makes it very unique. So it's not very typical for a Catholic church, and it's painted white to fit in with the colonial theme. Then there's St. Anne's Church, which has an Art Deco look to it. And then there's the St. Paul's Unitarian Church, which has a Gothic Revival look to it. So, a lot of different looks. And that by itself is quite unique, because a lot of the churches, you'll say, oh, Gothic Revival, Romanesque, but this one's all over the map, and that's good. They tried to be different and attract attention themselves that way, and so it's quite a special feel.
And which of the churches is your personal favorite and why?
I would have to say the St. Paul's Unitarian Universalist Church. The reason why it's so nicely made in its style, it has a beautiful steeple with clocks embedded into each four sides. It's made out of a nice gray to white granite. It's been around here for almost 150 years, a little short of that. And it has a rectory and a social hall to it, so it's nearly complete. It has a really cool, it looks like it's a back exit, but it looks like it's in the shape of a flying buttress, like the Gothic churches did once upon a time in France. So that gives it a very nice flair. And it's right out there on a very important street, so it's very obvious it's around, and it's well maintained. The rectory itself also fits in very well with the campus. So overall, it has probably the best look of any church in Palmer. And that's saying a lot because they all have something special. Now, which one's most different? It's definitely the St. Peter and Paul Church. Has that old-time Congregational Church look. And when you come upon it, you say, oh, that's a Protestant Congregational Church. No, it ends up being a Polish church that was made in a very different look. And then when you walk around the campus, you see the outdoor Adoration Chapel and the grotto and the beautiful landscape. And the old-time bell had been taken out of the steeple, and it's down now in a makeshift belfry for itself with exclamation plaques around it. And you can still read on the bell what it says. It's in Polish, but it tells you who the bishop was at the time. And that's a nice feel, too. So the churches are very nice around Palmer, and I hope you get to enjoy them.
And thank you for tuning in to our episode of the Churches of Palmer, Massachusetts on our Canal Days series, and joining us on our journey through the rich history of the Connecticut River Valley. We hope you enjoyed uncovering some of the hidden and overlooked marvels and the fascinating stories that shaped our past in the state of Massachusetts. A special thanks to Robert Camus, founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, for sharing his passion and expertise with us. Remember, you can find more information about Robert's tours, book private tours, and explore the Canal Days video and podcast series at HolyokeCanalTour.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, and share. We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Don't forget to keep exploring and discovering history that is hidden in plain sight all around us. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune into our next episode of Canal Days.